Hello, everyone. It's Frank McGuire.
And Christina Didumas.
Chris Sabana.
And this is another episode of Meanwhile, back on the podcast. On this week's episode, we thought it might be fun to make our predictions and wish lists for the unveiling of the X-Men IP. We each picked the 5 characters that we wanted to see the most for when the X-Gene finally mutates into the MCU. We have mutants from all over the spectrum on this list, from immortal Canadians to space pirates, and even an alternate Earth offspring of Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch. Catch all of our picks coming up on this episode of Meanwhile, back on the podcast.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, 4 colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Christina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom with their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls. They fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
What 5 X-Men do we want to see? We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. And we're going to, probably get into a little bit of X-Men story, a little bit of, characterization. May even talk about some potential casting, because I think once the subject of Wolverine is approached, that's definitely going to come up, I think. So anyways, before we jump into the episode, we have somebody joining us, our guest, Harmony. Hello, Harmony. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Hey, no worries. No worries. Thank you for joining us. You're a fellow nerdizen, and we've been getting to know you over the past couple of weeks, and you're kind of sitting in with the Meanwhile crew to see if this is something that you may want to be a part of long term. So welcome. Let's see how things go. I've also got Chris and Christina with me. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, good.
Good.
Welcome, Harmony. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining. Yes, we're very excited to have new blood in the pod. All right. So let's get this thing started. Let's start with Harmony, because she's the new voice on the show, and I'm kind of curious to see who she picked. So Harmony, if the MCU brings their X-Men movie out tomorrow, what are the 5 characters you want to see?
So Cypher, Doug Ramsey is his name. He's the son of Philip Ramsey.
Okay.
Who was a lawyer who helped Professor X, Charles Xavier, sort out all the legal stuff for his school. So he's already connected. And in the comics, Xavier already knows that he's a mutant, like Doug's a mutant, but he never points it out. And his power is like he's telepathic, and it's kind of boring, I will admit, but he translates any language he comes into contact with, whether it's written, spoken, or computers, so he can hack data super quick and stuff like that.
Okay.
Here's my first choice. I might just have a thing for blonde heroes. That's probably why I chose it. The second person I chose was Marrow. So her name is Sarah Rushman in the comics. And like Wolverine, how he has the claws, but she can make her bones into weapon or armor. Her bones just grow out of her skin.
Marrow, right. Yes, okay.
And
yep, I know Marrow.
And she just gets knives, clubs, or body armor out of it. I think it's super cool. She's got healing, she's got strength, and she has 2 hearts. Because in the comic book I read, Storm tries to rip out her heart to kill her.
Okay.
But she's just laughs at her face. She's like, I got another one. And then they start fighting again.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
If she has 2 hearts?
Yeah, to keep up with the bone growth. That's intense, right?
Out of everything that they felt like they had to justify in the X-Men universe, they had to give a second heart to justify bone growth. Hilarious.
Seriously. Okay, Marrow.
It's they're not gonna buy this one, guys. You better give him a second heart. Stupid.
Okay.
So, and plus there was a theory that she grew back her second heart because the one that Storm ripped up because of her healing. She was able to grow it back, so she's back to 2 hearts.
That's cool.
So this one might be a fan favorite. I know it is between me and my friends just because of WandaVision. Nocturne. Talia, she's the daughter of Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch in an alternate reality. So she's got agility, night vision, telepathy, and like her mother, she's got these super cool hex bolts, like the red.
Hold on, can we stop for a sec? Can we? Did you say telepathy?
Telepathy. I'm sorry.
Okay. The only reason I'm nitpicking right now is because I was hanging out with my buddy last night and I found out that he says the word bagel
Oh no.
instead of bagel. He says bagel. He says bagel.
I know people who say that. That's like a common way to say bagel.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you say the word bagel, please send us a message on Instagram or Twitter.
Britta Perry.
Because, yeah, exactly. Britta Perry. That's exactly what I said. I said there's an entire episode of Community about the way that Britta says bagel. Oh my God. Sorry. I just had to get in there. Okay. Sorry. Harmony, continue.
Wow, when you said young blood, you weren't kidding. Stabbed me right there. She also has possession. So she can possess someone for only up to 12 hours though, or one lunar cycle. So as soon as the moon goes down, she can't possess them anymore.
Okay.
And there's consequences to this, but not to her. Whoever she was controlling, whoever she was possessing, can become comatose for up to 24 hours because of all the power she leaves in their body. Also,
All right.
I wrote cool ass psychic shields for this. She combines her telepathy and her hex bolts, and she creates a psychic shield around her when she's hurt, so she can heal.
Interesting.
And because she's Scarlet Witch's daughter, and there's the multiverse talk and everything, it makes sense that there might be an alternate reality child of hers that gets introduced.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that'd be cool. Another one is Dust. I cannot pronounce her name. Soraya Quadir. She was rescued by Wolverine from a slave trading ring, and she was sent to the Indian X Corporation base in Bombay. And I just love her because she just turns into dust. That's it. That's her power. She can't be detected through magic or anything when she's in sand form. And she has enhanced durability in her bones and muscles, so she's stronger than regular humans. So when humans try to beat her up, she just one punches them.
Okay.
So I just thought she was
I feel like that would be hard to show on screen.
Yeah, that might be a little difficult, but I just thought it was so cool, and it's like.
Well, she sounds like Sand. Like she's doing what Sandman does, isn't she? Like
that's what my boyfriend said. He's like, she just sounds like Sandman, and I'm like, but
she's doing what Sandman. Yeah, it just sounds like Sandman.
Man, you really went for the niche picks.
Yeah, like holy shit, like okay, so part of this exercise that I wanted to do with you guys is, Harmony, you got to pitch these in a room to somebody. So tell me, like, how are you, like, because these characters to me,
dude, she turns into dust. How are you not?
That's
just
true.
imagine,
That's true.
okay? Thanos snaps. She turns into dust to disappear.
Like, joke's on you.
You know,
Okay.
Cap looks over, good one. And then he looks over to Bucky, and Bucky starts dusting, and he's like, dude, that'd be hilarious.
Okay. So as far as marketability, you have no marketability for your characters right now.
Marrow's
Hey, Nocturne. She's
okay.
Scarlet Witch's
Marrow
daughter.
is probably
I have
most.
no idea who Nocturne is.
Yeah, Marrow's probably the most well known
I gotta
out of
look
all
that
the
up.
characters that you pitched, which is not a bad thing because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Feige went in a completely different direction with the X-Men. And the only reason I say that is because Marvel is definitely on this path of hyper progressivism. They're trying to catch up to DC, and Harmony, you mentioned a lot of characters that are, they're from marginalized groups, and there's a lot of women in your group too. So who knows? Like, who knows what could happen here, right? Like you never really know what could happen.
I chose Cypher just because of that, because he has a connection to Xavier. Like because his dad worked with Xavier, so he could just be like, hey, found out my son has this telepathic power. Can you take him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I chose Nocturne just because Scarlet Witch is pretty much Disney's golden goose right now.
True.
Right? Like, she's just laying those golden eggs. It's the most watched TV show and stuff. So and because she has the hex bolts like her mom did, I feel like, especially with Doctor Strange's multiverse coming up, people thinking Spider-Man 3 is going to be about the multiverse and other Spider-Man. Yeah. It'd be cool to see, like, an alternate reality child of hers.
Right.
Come into play.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all. Okay, so can you tell me their group factions? Like, are they all X-Men? Are they X-Factor? Are they X-Force? Are they Hellions? Are they Marauders? Like, which group are they parts of?
So Dust, Nocturne, and Cypher are X-Men. Marrow was part of the I can't remember what they're called.
The Hellions?
Yes.
The Hellions.
Yes,
Okay.
She was part of the Hellions.
Okay.
And then I also have North Star, aka Jean pale. His parents
Right.
and his parents die in a car accident, right? Sad. But then bam, his adoptive family dies in a car accident too.
Shit. Okay.
He has superhuman
Alright.
speed, he can fly, and he turns into a bright white light.
Interesting.
So he's like a human torch, but he can
Okay.
fly.
Isn't he Canadian?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay, so
From
he was part
Quebec.
of Alpha Flight.
Yes.
He was part of Alpha Flight at some point. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Very
Cool picks.
very obscure. Very like, like these are the hipster picks. Like these are the hipster guys that we're gonna get into the X-Men. But yeah. Sorry, Harmony. That's just my age talking. That's that's me and my classic basic X-Men that I'm about to rhyme off once we get going.
In my defense,
So yeah.
I thought these people were cool when I was young. Okay, I've been going through it, my comic books, and I have like stars and hearts put beside their names and their photos in the comic books. I'm like, I liked her at one point, so
Nice.
maybe she'll be cool now.
Nice.
It's okay too, because we take shots at Frank for being older. So
That's true. That's true. I do get it for being older. And by the way, I'm 1 year older now. Again, I turned 42 on Friday. So
Happy birthday, Frank.
thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're 10 years
Appreciate it.
older than me on the dot right now.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
I lied.
Thank
I
you.
lied. You're 20 years older than me. I'm 22.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but if you saw me, you wouldn't believe it. Like nobody believes
He
I'm
doesn't look
42.
42.
I got-
Nobody believes I'm
I
42.
was coming back from Fan Expo. I was dressed up as Harley Quinn. I got pulled
Yeah.
over for looking too young to drive.
Oh, hilarious.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay, so your X-Men, probability of 1 to 5 for each of them that they actually end up in an X-Men film.
I'm failing this. Cypher, probably 2.
Okay.
No, they need some X-Men to die right away. I think they can have Cypher there. Make a brief appearance.
Marrow, probably, I'd probably give her a 4.
Okay.
Just because of her bones turning into weapons, and I know she is a fan favorite on Twitter and stuff too.
Yeah.
Nocturne,
Okay.
just because of Scarlet Witch, I'm gonna give her a 3.
Okay. All right.
Dust, I 0. I just like. I know she might not be in there, but if she is, I'm taking over the podcast just because of that amazing insight.
Gotcha.
North
Okay.
Star, probably because they probably want to make more of those Canadian jokes because Wolverines are still a meme. Maybe a 3. I'm gonna give him a 3. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I think that's fair. I think you're not stretching too much. So cool. All right. So who's next? Christina. Let's let's go with one of the dudes. Chris.
All right.
Let's hear about your X-Men picks, pal.
So some of these aren't X-Men. They're actually like villains. So what I had imagined the entry to the MCU for mutants
Yep.
is kind of like a tenuous, like a villainish entrance, like a roguish entrance. I chose like mutants that would create problems for our existing heroes. So I kind of wanted them to like enter the world as like villains at first. Like my first choice would actually be Wanda if they somehow like found a way to actually say, hey, you see how powerful she is? It's because she's also a mutant after
Right.
getting her. But like that's probably not probable. But so I'm just gonna like put that as an honorable mention. My first choice is gonna have to be Magneto because like I just need more Magneto. It's something. It's a character I think that you can just like change up a little bit and like not have it the same as the Magneto we've always had,
Right.
and bring a lot of conflict
Right.
still into it. Azazel, which is
Nightcrawler's brother.
Nightcrawler's his dad.
His dad, right? Sorry.
Yeah. And like I think he wasn't given the full treatment in the one movie that he was in.
First Class.
Because like
Yeah.
Azazel is like really good villain. Like he's immortal. As someone who like from top to bottom looks like a villain,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be like a really good way to kind of alienate mutants at first, so that it gives the X-Men when they finally debut themselves to like give them something to actually like fight against, right? 'Cause
Okay.
it's always about persecution with them. Wolverine, but because you have to have Wolverine, and
Yep.
actually the number one reason I wanted Wolverine is because I need in my life a Wolverine versus Hulk fight. That's
Yes.
that's the thing I've been waiting for.
Yes.
And like I think they kind of shot that out of the air because they turned
They made
the
him
Hulk
Smart
into-
Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, they made him Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
But if there's a way for them to like find a way, maybe like what's her face? Black Widow's movie was back in time, so maybe they can do something like that.
Yep.
And then Gambit, because I think he would be someone that could like wreak havoc, and like he's a thief, right? So he could be someone that like brings the mutants a bad name at first. And my last choice is Rogue, because I want her to fight Captain Marvel and take her power. So that, because in the comics she takes Captain Marvel's powers. That's how she can. That's the only reason why she can fly.
Yep.
And that would give us someone that's like someone with Captain Marvel's powers that. I don't know. Like it could solve the Captain Marvel problem that she can just flick every freaking character in the MCU. So, yeah, I think, and also the fight itself. I think I want to see a Rogue versus Captain
That happens
Marvel.
in the 90s X-Men TV show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish Rogue had the powers to recast Brie Larson. That's what I wish. But
Did you?
But-
She tweeted or confirmed something in quotes that
yeah.
Thanos cheated, and that Captain Marvel is stronger than Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I was like,
Yeah.
no, he punched you in the face. You lost. Take it like a man, or a woman, right? It's just one of those things.
Yeah, Brie rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, I don't know. So
I don't know. I like her as an actress, but yeah, I don't know if I like her the most as Captain Marvel.
Actually, you know what? I've been watching Vikings a lot lately, and I think Catherine Winnick would have been perfect Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've been watching Vikings too.
Yeah, Lagatha.
Is that Lagatha? Oh, I love
Lagatha would have been the perfect Captain Marvel. And she kind of looks a little bit like Scarlett Johansson a little bit too. So that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so Chris's X-Men. All right. So Magneto I love. I don't think we specified we were picking heroes or villains or whatever, but like 5 X-Men is 5 X-Men. And technically Magneto's an X-Men now based on Jonathan Hickman's run. So it's totally cool. So Chris, I want to get into Magneto because I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the lineup of like some of the historical TV shows that are being produced right now. There's about 4 programs right now that deal with Nazis and people of the Jewish faith. And there's Man in the High Castle, which is basically an alternate history retelling if the Nazis had won World War II with Japan. I don't know if you guys have seen that series, but it's fantastic. It's so good. It is so good. There's Hunters, which is about a group of...
With Al Pacino, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I just finished season 1. And oh my God, the twist at the end, mind-blowing. Fucking mind-blowing. Fucking mind-blowing. And then there's The Plot Against America, which is about if Lindbergh had become president of the United States because apparently he was an anti-Semitic, and so was Henry Ford. Henry Ford's portrayed in this film as well. And I guess in a way, this new show focusing on the world of NASA called For All Mankind, which is also an alternate history. It's alternate history based on if the Russians had reached the moon first. And Werner von Braun is featured prominently in that show. And they talk about Operation Paperclip, and they talk about, and yes, people, that is a real thing. I've talked about this online before.
Yeah.
And people are like, get your conspiracy. That's not a fucking conspiracy theory, people. Okay. Nazis started NASA. Werner von Braun was the guy who built the V2 rocket and destroyed London. And he became NASA's prime rocket scientist. So that's not a conspiracy, folks.
Oh yeah,
That's
they took a lot of German scientists and stuff over.
Yeah, they wanted the talent. Right? They wanted the talent. Anyways, this isn't a history podcast, but my point of bringing this up, Chris, is I wanted to talk to you about the importance, because we've heard rumors that Magneto, maybe it's not even rumors, maybe it's just people speculating wildly, but there's people talking about what would happen if Magneto was replaced by an African American, right? And I feel like Magneto carries such an important backstory, and I don't really want to see that happen. Not that they couldn't do that with an African American actor, but I feel like it's almost kind of an area of our history where it just shouldn't be touched. You know, it shouldn't be altered. It shouldn't be fucked with. I think when you give a character a backstory that's connected to something like the Holocaust, you just leave it alone.
And I think like even him like losing his family when, can't remember which movie that was.
In most of them, well, X-Men, the first X-Men, there's a scene where it opens on concentration camp. In First Class, I think, opens on a concentration camp.
There's the one
number of them.
There's the one where like he's just working in like a steel factory, and then his daughter and wife are killed.
Yeah, I think that's First Class. Actually, no, is it?
No, it's after. It was after. It was the one right after First Class.
Anyways, I think it's really important that he has that, because it just, when he and Charles don't get along, and he just kind of goes, "We are the future, Charles." I love that line. But I think it's so important to know that, because he's only seen hatred and spitefulness for who he is. Whether it be from the Nazis, whether it be from people who don't like mutants, but it's just, whereas Charles has seen hope. So it's understanding why they clash so hard, and you have so much sympathy for him, even though he is a villain most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important, and I don't think that should be erased just to make people happy, when you can bring in a lot of people. For instance, one person I left out of my list, Prodigy. He's a black male who's bisexual. Mm-hmm. Right? There's a lot of characters in the X-Men who can be used.
There's tons.
You don't have to rewrite people.
I think if they did do it, they would have to rewrite the backstory too, and tie it into a different type of genocide that's occurred. And unfortunately, there's so many that they could choose from.
Well, that's what people are saying. People are trying to say that, you could tie it back to slavery, right? Or Jim Crow.
Or what happened in Rwanda. So something like that.
That's true too. Yeah. That's true too. But I just think this is kind of, this is hallowed ground. I just don't think you touch it, but I don't know. I'm excited by Magneto as a character because of his hypocrisy. That's what I love about him, is hypocrisy. Sorry, you hear him talk about the mutants as a superior race all the time. And that's what the Nazis did. That's literally what the Nazis did. The Nazis thought they were a superior race, and he thinks he's a superior race. So, it's fascinating. That's all I got.
It seems like he has a lot of trauma from his childhood experiences, and maybe he should seek therapy for that.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Okay, so you said Magneto, Azazel, Wolverine, Gambit, and who was the fifth?
Rogue,
right? Okay, Gambit, I definitely want to see. However he gets here, I want to see it. I do want him to be more anti-hero than hero. I think that's where he thrives. And I want to see,
and he'll fit in the MCU way better than the 20th Century Fox, because like it's that whole Captain America problem where like it's really ridiculous that he throws his shield and it bounces. It's just like not a thing that you can really sell.
Yeah,
but the MCU found a way to do it.
Yeah.
So Gambit being like an equally ridiculous like prospect in terms of his kind of like cartoonishness.
Yeah,
like they would definitely sell it here.
Yeah,
and I think like he can really create some conflicts for the mutants.
Yeah, no, dude, I think he'd be great. I really think he'd be awesome. Azazel, I really haven't read any comics with him, so I don't really know a lot about him. But I love Nightcrawler, so that could be cool to explore. And of course, Wolverine, Wolverine, I'm gonna spoil it right now. Wolverine's my first choice. So, but I think that those are all great picks. And Rogue, let's talk about Rogue. The casting for Rogue in the past has been interesting. Interesting choices with Anna Paquin. Anna Paquin was not the Rogue I was expecting. I want the Southern Belle Rogue. That's what I want. I want the Southern Belle Rogue. I think that's really the only way. Like I want the animated version of Rogue to jump onto the movie screen. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
I thought
that's
I
always
wanted
what you
too.
want.
I thought I wanted that too. But the thing is with Rogue, the reason why they rewrote her is because she's very easy to rewrite. Like it's not like, so with Magneto you can't rewrite him. Like his backstory is central to his character.
Yeah.
But Rogue, it's like her abilities are central to her character and not her backstory, right? So that's I think the main thing why they made her younger and more naive, and not this Southern Belle powerhouse that she was in the animated show. So I think that like part of the fun of the Rogue character is that you can keep the spirit of her character intact because it's very tied to her abilities, and rewrite her in whatever container you want to put her in, right? So that's the thing. It's just like that kind of the reason. One of the main reasons why I picked her is because she'll just fit into any story, right? And they can still give her the struggle of mutant kind is kind of seen in microcosm in her, because like, you know, it's a lot of mutant kind is like, it's not just gifts, they're curses, and it's like everything is usually personified in her character, because her character's like her ability is completely a curse to her.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's like that's the thing. That's why you have to have Rogue in an X-Men story.
Yep.
In my opinion, you almost have to always have it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's so interchangeable with whatever story. So like, don't get me wrong. Like a Southern Belle, like if they give like nods to that, yeah, like I would definitely, if they did it, I wouldn't mind her like being close to her animated counterpart. But I don't think that's like the most important thing about her character.
No, I hear you.
I like that
I hear ya.
description a lot, though, because it makes sense, because Magneto and her are completely different, because Magneto is completely, his powers are amazing, sure, but he is the way he is because of his emotions and trauma, whereas she has emotions and trauma because of her powers. Right? So it doesn't matter how or who she's cast as long as
True.
she's being able to portray it properly.
True.
Right.
But with Rogue, you can play the sugar drinking game. You know, like with Magneto, you can't play any drinking games.
Sugar.
Every time she says sugar, you just like, you know. Anyway, no, that's I don't have that drinking game. It would be pretty pathetic if I was watching the animated series playing a drinking game. Yeah. Okay, cool, man. So, Chris, your marketability is certainly higher. We've seen these characters before in other iterations. So I'd say you got a good chance of getting a couple of them in there. Do you want to play the probability game? What do you ranking your characters at?
Sure. Let's see. Gambit's probably like a low 2.
Probably because of the performance in the Wolverine movie. Yep.
No, not at all.
Well, actually,
not at all. If anything, that would help it.
Actually, Taylor Kitsch was pretty good. Taylor Kitsch was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if anything, that would help it, because it's something that we've already had, but not with a lot of baggage. I think with Wolverine and Magneto, they really have to consider the baggage that character is coming back with, because there's like two versions of Magneto we have, and one actor for Wolverine that's like, you know, the personification of Wolverine. Iconic, so that's already a problem. So with Gambit, it's like something that has already been screen tested, but you know, the reason why I don't think they can that it's not very high on the probability list is because it's very hard to write. Like you draw on Gambit if you have a very specific story, but you don't just like go, I have this story, let's populate it, let's take Gambit, because everyone loves Gambit. You can't really do that, right? Like, Gambit's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I need this like thief guy for his. Well, anyways, like you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
After 10 years of Ryan.
Well,
they
didn't technically recast Deadpool.
Oh, that's right.
They revamped him. Thank God. Oh my God, that Deadpool was the fucking worst.
No, actually, that's a good point, Harmony, because like, Deadpool honestly is like. Oh, sorry. Let me do that again. What am I trying to say here? 3.
I wouldn't count him too low
3,
though, because
2.
they recast Deadpool.
That's actually a good point, Harmony, because because since Ryan Reynolds was able to do it and Deadpool was a fucking success after it got revamped, they could definitely see Gambit in the same vein.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
right?
they changed him up.
He's someone that can be recreated and be this like good hit. But anyways, moving on. Wolverine. I feel like Wolverine has a lot of inertia behind him. But like I said, it's hard to recast them. But I'd say like 5. I'd say like 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's definitely, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, the only way.
It's hard to do it without him.
The only way that Kevin Feige breaks my heart with Wolverine is if we get X-23. I'm like, you have to give me Logan in the first MCU movie. Just give me one fucking movie. And then if you want to progress to X-23, cool, that's awesome, but you got to give me Logan. I have to have fucking Logan.
Logan first.
I can't picture them starting with X-23. I don't.
Don't say that. Okay, listen.
I do like really her, cool. But I can't picture them starting with her in the MCU.
Yeah,
let's fucking hope not. Let's hope not.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind if she came. Like, I love X-23, but her story is very tied to Wolverine.
Yeah.
But I guess they can rewrite that. I mean, that's one of those things that they would do, right?
But then if they rewrote it, they would be telling Wolverine's story, and it would be based on her. So that's why I don't think they would pick her to be. First
they
one.
could.
They could always do like a test run and cast someone else as Wolverine to see how the fans like it if they want to do a reboot of Iron Man, because everyone doesn't want another Iron Man, right? So Robert and Hugh are in that same boat where they played these iconic characters that no one thinks can be replaced. So if they try to replace Logan's actor, and it goes well, they might find a way to reboot or find a different Iron Man.
Maybe, but that's definitely extrapolating pretty widely. But like, Hugh's already told us that he's not coming back as Wolverine. That's not even I don't think that's even even a low probability right now.
What they could do is give it the Teen Titans treatment, where it's like, yes, there's a new version of Wolverine in this world, but we're not really gonna mention him. Like the same thing with Batman in Teen Titans, where it's like, yes, there's a Batman, get over it. Like, he's in the world, we're not gonna show you him because it's not about him. It's about Teen Titans, right? So they could do that, but I wouldn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So how important is height when casting Wolverine this time around?
Make him short if they can help it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those casting things where it's like, give it, like, definitely try, but it's not my number one thing. You know what I mean? Like, after Hugh Jackman, like the hardcore fans are like, he needs to be really short. I'm one of those people, to be fair. But like, after Hugh Jackman, like you can see how like a perfect actor can just override a detail like that, right?
Yeah, like he's not supposed to be, he's not supposed to be as lanky as he was. Hugh Jackman was tall and he was very trim. Like he's a fit dude. He's jacked as fuck. But Wolverine's jacked is like out. It goes like wide. It doesn't.
Yeah,
really,
it's stout. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's stout. And that's literally why he's called Wolverine. Like, he
needs to be more visceral. I think. Like, he needs to be more primal. Like,
actually, I don't know. I would argue that Hugh Jackman did a great job of tapping into that animalistic side.
So I agree with you in fight scenes, but in the daily, like when he's doing his like charisma thing, I think he needed to be a little bit more unapproachable, right? Because like here he was like stoic and like tall, dark, and stoic, right?
Yeah.
But like in the comics, he's like, you kind of don't want to talk to him. He's kind of an asshole, right? Like he's like, he doesn't answer in words. He answers in growls, right? So I like that might be a little
and Bub,
but and Bubs, yeah.
He does say
I think Zac Efron, actually, the way you guys are describing it, like a short buff guy, Zac Efron might fit the case.
No.
Oh, come
Can he
on.
even grow facial hair?
Yes, he can. And
Can he?
if you guys saw The Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman was in it. Zac Efron was also in it, obviously. He kind of shadows kind of like someone who's being mentored by Hugh Jackman's character. And it just kind of, you can see the resemblance in them too. And I don't know, maybe it's because they're white guys with brown hair. I don't know. But
he's too much of
see
a
the
pretty boy.
resemblance.
I can't see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's too
have you guys
pretty.
not seen him recently?
I don't know.
He
he's
looks like a
pretty
caveman. He looks like a
Oh,
caveman. He's got
don't know
like
what he
a
looks
giant beard, six-pack, giant biceps, and he's just chilling on Netflix, like going to different islands and doing stuff.
I don't know,
No,
man.
I can't find any pictures of him looking like that. Because that
The
guy
way
with
that-
that beard.
His PR is like deleting them frantically from the internet.
That's not rugged enough. Even with a beard, it's like so tame. His beard's so tame. Nah, that's not gonna work.
He can play Angel or Archangel.
Yeah, he needs to be he needs to have one of the pretty boy characters. He needs to be
Yeah.
Iceman or something like that. Yeah.
Iceman.
No, for sure.
Oh, that's a good Iceman, actually.
Yeah, he'd actually be a good Iceman. I think he'd be a good Iceman.
Yeah, there's lots of other
Yeah.
characters he could play, but I can't picture him being Wolverine.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
So where were we? Rogue. I think
I could
yeah.
picture Carl Urban being Wolverine. That would be a
Carl
cool
Urban?
Wolverine.
Yes.
Everybody's actually, a lot of people have been talking about Urban
I
playing Wolverine.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
He
Christine.
totally reminds me of Wolverine. Every
At
time I
least
see
Old Man
boys-
Logan. At least Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
For sure. Carl Urban. Yeah, for sure. Chris, what are your thoughts on the casting of Channing Tatum? The casting for Gambit with the rumors of Channing Tatum? Or people wanting Channing Tatum?
Nah, I don't know.
No?
I
Like-
think no as well.
Channing Tatum has never really impressed me. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I just I've never really been impressed. But I mean, I probably said the same thing about Robert Pattinson, and he's impressed me lately. So I mean, who knows, right?
Right.
But like on paper, no. But I'm sure he can. I'm sure there's a reason why the people are looking at him, right?
I mean, has he done anything other than romantic movies and stoner movies?
Yeah, he
Right,
did.
exactly.
He did
Good
the Hateful
call.
Eight. He did the Hateful Eight. He was
What?
really good in the Hateful Eight,
Okay.
Like, he was there for a scene.
but he was still good.
yeah.
He was still
Yeah, I
good.
guess.
He was pretty good as an action hero in Jupiter Ascending. I'm probably the lone fan of that movie here because everybody bagged on it, but
I gotta watch it. I have never seen
you've
it.
never seen it, dude.
Neither
It's
have
pretty
I.
good. It's pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyways, I may have just lost a couple of fans for our podcast by talking about Jupiter Ascending.
I found a good fan cast for Gambit.
Who?
His name's Dacre Montgomery. He plays Billy
Dacre
in
would be
Stranger
good.
Things.
Yeah.
And I just really like him in Stranger Things. I think he's awesome, and I
Yeah.
can picture him playing Gambit really well.
He could be a good Wolverine too, I think.
I have a
Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah.
I don't picture him as Wolverine.
The
But
guy
yeah,
who plays Ron Swanson has a
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
big beard right now. He'd
Oh
be
my
a great
God.
Wolverine.
yeah, that would be.
Oh
fun.
my god. Nick Offerman as Wolverine.
Well, that would be great.
Holy shit. I didn't even think about that.
nice pick.
Nick Offerman might actually be good for that role.
He's,
And
But
he's
he-
he's a
awesome.
little bit, I don't know how fit he is though. That's the only thing.
He'd have to get jacked though. Yeah, he'd have to.
Yeah.
get
I'm
jacked.
sure he
that'd
could
be
get
good.
fit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
thing
that's a good
that
choice,
could
though.
happen.
Yeah. No, that's a cool call. I like that. I really do
I
like that.
mean, what's his name? Chris Pratt got fit to play
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
Star
true.
Lord.
So
Yeah.
I have a fucking pick for Gambit that I don't think will happen, but I want to see it.
Sure.
Dave Franco,
Oh,
Dave
yeah.
Franco.
I
That
can
might
see
work.
that.
That might work.
because he's got the shittiness of he can be like a jackass. You know what I mean? He plays jackass characters.
Yeah.
So I think he can do it. So where were we? Rogue, I think. I think I'm gonna give Rogue. Hopefully a 4. I'm gonna give her a 4.
Okay.
But I'm hopeful
Okay.
because I like really well. And Azazel's probably a low 2.
Right.
Yeah, but which is a shame because he's underrated. And this is the kind of character that they want, right? Because it's someone not a lot of people has heard of that can be that's kind of hard to sell, but if they sell it, it's it brings it heightens the bar of ridiculous characters that they can bring in
Like Dust.
after you know what I mean?
Like Dust, I agree.
Like Dust. Yeah, like Dust. Sure.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. I think that's everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll examine Wolverine more as more people mention Wolverine because that's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Chris, I like your list, dude. I think. Well, I applaud you.
Can I give you an honorable mention? Actually,
Sure.
'Cause I actually really wanted, although I think we're kind of sick of her.
who?
I want a Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want a Phoenix because she's you know what I mean. She's the powerhouse.
Yep.
And I think we need more powerhouses in the MCU and bring, you know what I mean. Instead of everybody being one level and then one character being above everybody else, we need more powerhouses. And I think Phoenix can do it because she also has a villain side to her.
Well, if there's
can-
anybody
yeah.
that's on the level with Scarlet Witch, it's Jean Grey as the Phoenix.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
could you imagine them teaming up?
Yeah.
Or fighting.
It would have to be a fight. Yeah, it would have to be a fight. So before we get into Christina's picks, just want to tell you guys, we're playing a little WandaVision finale watch party, and we're going to be giving away some WandaVision shit, and we're going to be hanging out and talking about the episode. That's going to happen on Saturday at 7 p.m., March 6th, right, Christina?
Yeah, that's the
Cool. So we hope you guys will join us for that. Like I said, we're going to be giving away some WandaVision shit. We may even give away some other cool shit too. We like to give away shit when we do these things. There's going to be a live fan interactive thing where you guys can ask us questions. We can talk about the episode together. So it won't just be all of us in the pod just talking to each other. We're going to get pretty interactive with it. So it should be good. And some of the past episodes you guys might have missed. We just dropped our first edition of Free as a Nerd. And the acronym for that, ironically, is FAN. I did not know that when I came up with that, but Free as a Nerd. So go check that out. I basically sat down for half an hour. I went through the characterization of Luke Skywalker as it was portrayed in The Last Jedi. And I dropped a pretty fucking big Snoke Palpatine theory that I really think is going to get some people talking. and I verified it with all my Star Wars buddies before I even recorded it. And if this theory ends up holding any water, oh my God, we all owe Ryan Johnson an apology cake. Seriously. Like, we will all owe Ryan Johnson an apology, especially you, Chris, and Jeff. You got to talk some shit about The Last Jedi.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So definitely go back and check out those episodes for sure. We've also got our Wonder Woman 1984 spoiler hot review. If you guys haven't listened to that, check that out. And we just did Almost MCU Heroes Part 1. So definitely check that out because Part 2 is going to be dropping soon. But anyways, let's get on with the episode here. Christina, let's hear about your picks.
Sure.
What's your X group looking like?
So mine is basically pulled from Astonishing X-Men at the beginning.
Okay.
So it's Cyclops.
Oh, I hope you say Beast because I want to talk about what Beast we get. Do we get Man Beast or do we get we get Snout Beast? I love Snout Beast. Sorry, go ahead.
Beast is on my list, but
okay.
Wait, I'm going to go in order. Emma Frost.
Yeah.
And Cyclops and
nice.
Emma Frost are leading a new team of X-Men. So the
Right.
previous team of X-Men is disbanded.
Yep.
And Emma Frost and Cyclops start a new team.
Yep.
And they're like the leaders of it.
And they start
call
fucking.
in some people to be teachers. So then Wolverine, Beast, and Kitty Pryde are the teachers.
Okay. And Wolverine and Emma Frost start fucking. Or no, sorry. Cyclops and Emma Frost
Cyclops
start
and
fucking.
Emma Frost. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they
They're
start fucking.
dating.
Yeah.
And I just think it's fun because, it's a different romantic dynamic. It's a different leadership dynamic.
Okay.
We don't usually see Wolverine, Beast, and Kitty as teachers, so it's kind of fun to see them take on those roles with the challenges that come along with it. And I think I would require an additional character who's not an X-Men, but I think in order for this to come into the MCU, we would have to see Agent Abigail Brand show up. Who
Okay.
works for SWORD.
Sword,
And
right?
has a lot of connections to a lot of other teams that are in the MCU or will
Yep.
be in the MCU. So
Yep.
yeah. And
Cool.
Abigail Brand is one of my favorite characters that's tied to space. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's get into your team. All right, let's start with Emma Frost. So you guys are aware that meanwhile back on the podcast, fan cast Margot Robbie is Emma Frost, right?
Yeah, I actually would have picked Amanda Seyfried for her.
Way. Margot
Yeah.
Robbie looks exactly like Emma Frost.
I don't know. I think Amanda Seyfried looks cool. And I think Amanda Seyfried would do the villainous stuff pretty good. And in Astonishing X-Men, Emma Frost does have a story arc that ties into the Hellfire Club as well.
Yeah.
And one of the members of the Hellfire Club ends up manipulating her to kind of I don't know, be a double agent on the X-Men kind of thing.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting storyline.
But how cool would it be to take one character in one world where she's an actual psychiatrist and then make her a psychic in another world? That'd be kind of
Yeah,
dope.
that would be
I
cool.
don't know.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we've seen enough of Margot Robbie and everybody loves her.
Nobody
as,
has seen enough of Margot Robbie.
But we
okay?
love her. We love her as
Harley.
What's her name? Harley. I can't picture
Yeah.
her playing Emma Frost as well. I don't know.
No, I can. I
I completely agree with Amanda. I love her. I love her
Okay.
acting.
Yeah.
I feel like she would do a great job at just showing the crazy side, if you will, to her, the evil, villainous side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think she would. I just love her as an actress. I would marry her if I could. She doesn't know I exist though, so that's the only issue. But I feel like she's a great choice. Even as she was runner for Harley Quinn too, right?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, we posted about
Yeah.
that a couple of days ago. Yeah, Amanda Seyfried. Actually, no, we didn't post that. We have
You
to
didn't
post
post
that.
it. You created it.
Did I just spoil the post? I just spoiled the post. But there's more names on that list than just Amanda Seyfried, and some of them are pretty dope. So I
want Lagertha. I want Catherine Winnick.
As-
Since we talked about her
as Emma
as
Frost.
Emma Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine Winnick.
Yeah, she has the look.
Okay.
She has the look. She's got the blonde hair.
Okay.
She's got the poise.
I can
Okay.
see that too.
Yeah.
My first choice would have been Megan Fox for Emma Frost.
No, I don't
Really?
like Megan Fox's acting too much. She's very pretty, but
Her features are too dark. I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
Emma Frost, I think so. They can always
I
give
can
her
see it.
blonde hair, but
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel because she's played a little bit of villainous characters. Jessica's Body, I think it was. She
Yep.
played
Mhm.
a villain in that too.
Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body. Yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen enough of her movies, but I don't know. In Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I didn't think she was a strong enough actress for those roles. But
I loved her in Transformers, but that's just because the way Michael Bay shot her.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. She did better in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Actually, I did enjoy her a bit more as April O'Neil, but I just think there's other people that it was kind of like their original thing, and they just have more experience with it. So
I think
Amanda Seyfried is so good.
I think we could do an entire episode about how over-sexualized Transformers really is. Like, it's insane.
I think unfortunately they over-sexualize Megan Fox, and that's really sad that they do.
No, but they over-sexualize the other girl too in the sequel, the blonde, the villain. Like, it was crazy, dude. I was like, holy shit.
I don't remember. I don't think I've seen enough of the movies though. But I think I stopped watching after the first or second one.
It looked like a fucking rap video. It was nuts, man. Anyways,
there's so many Transformers movies. Didn't they do like 5 or something?
4, I think. 4. But yeah. Okay,
and,
so let's talk about
John Krasinski would be my Cyclops.
Oh, that's not a bad pick. I was actually gonna say Cyclops is kind of like, you could throw a dart and hit a Cyclops because essentially Cyclops is he has to look like the prom king or the quarterback or whatever. Like, that's basically,
Who's your pick?
John Krasinski,
the guy from The Office, Jim Halpert from The Office.
Yeah, John Krasinski. That's not a bad pick. I think that would work. Honestly, I really do. Okay, so let's talk about Beast, because I think that's the most interesting character you picked in terms of the movie world, because specifically you're talking about the astonishing X-Men Beast, who's got a snout, who looks like a lion or a bear or whatever. He looks like an animal. I would love to see that shit. Like, I didn't mind Kelsey Grammer's Beast. Kelsey Grammer's Beast was pretty good. So was Nicholas Holt's Beast. They were all pretty good. But I would love to see a snout Beast. I think a snout Beast would be really fucking cool. Thoughts, guys?
I agree. I couldn't picture anyone else who could play Beast. Like, I loved Kelsey Grammer's performance so much.
Oh, yeah. His delivery is so good.
So much
like him.
So good. So good. You guys heard that Frasier might be coming back, and I actually had a story idea. I want, in the new reboot, I want the story where where Kelsey Grammer got cast as Beast to be part of him being cast as Beast as Frasier. Wouldn't that be dope?
What? I'm so confused.
Okay, like in the world of Frasier, right? Marvel calls and says, we've listened to your show. We think you got the perfect delivery and the voice and whatever. We want you to come out. We want you to try it for Beast. Wouldn't that be fucking dope?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that'd be really awesome. But yeah, and by the way, I'm a huge Frasier fan. Frasier is one of the best sitcoms of all time, by far.
I do like
so
it,
good.
Yeah.
So
Very
good.
funny.
So good. Cool. And okay, so Emma Frost, Cyclops, Beast, Kitty Pryde, and who else?
So that was 5. And for Kitty Pryde, I'd want to see Millie Bobby Brown play Kitty.
Okay.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. Okay.
And then, like
Very
I said,
cool.
my additional character that's not an X-Men, I think in order for this to work, we would have to say Abigail Brand play a sword agent.
Right. So you cheated. You picked somebody outside the X-Men. Okay, that's fine.
Well, she's not on my list. I have 5 X-Men, and then I'm just saying, in order for this to be pulled into the MCU, I think it would have to be tied to Abigail Brand, who works for Sword.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So Kitty Pryde's another character where her religion is fairly important to her, and she practices Judaism too. I'd like to see that be carried through. We've seen it from Magneto's perspective, but we've never seen it from somebody who isn't an angry, vindictive, violent person. So I think it'd be cool if it got carried through in the Kitty Pryde story. It's been carried into the comic books fairly well, so I think that'd be pretty neat. But anyways, cool. All right, so it's my turn. Okay, so Wolverine for sure, 100%. Nightcrawler, 100%. Havoc. I don't want to see Cyclops. I'm done with Cyclops. I want to see Havoc. Havoc is unbelievable. He's such a fucking cool character. He's had some of the best costumes, except for the one where he had the things on his head in the comics. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. I definitely want Psylocke. I love Psylocke and Storm. Yep. Those are my
Good
5.
choice.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
contemplating Storm because they can do the whole Wakanda story with Storm.
Right.
But like, yeah, it's hard to do now, but unfortunately, but yeah, I thought of Storm too. Those are good choices. Don't you think though that if they had Havoc, that everybody would kind of just feel like they just chose Havoc over Cyclops because we've already had Cyclops?
Yep. That's exactly why I want them to do it too.
Yeah, but I would just be like, oh, it's a discount Cyclops. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah,
but I guess if they do it
I
right.
love Lucas Till as Havoc, so hopefully he comes back for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think he would fit that role. He'd make a great Barry Allen too. Lucas Till would make a great Barry
I
Allen.
agree.
But yeah, no, okay, so Wolverine for me, like that's the first character I really just fell in love with. When they started talking about the X-Men coming into the MCU, all I could think about was Wolverine and Captain America flashbacks, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Wolverine and Magneto were supposed to be in the first Avenger film. They were supposed to be cameos, like they were
Which
written
I
in the
really
story.
wanted.
Yeah, but they couldn't do it because of the rights. So that was actually a part of it. And I do want to see a lot of the Weapon X coming up stuff eventually. Like I do want to see, like if I was going to be okay with them ever bringing Chris Evans back, that's the only context I want them to bring him back.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I think that he's obviously, he's done a great job as Captain America, but Steve Rogers got his fond farewell. Right. And I don't want that ruined. Like it ended on an extremely high note. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a second here. Oh, it's Christina texting Taco. Okay, sorry. I thought I was being alerted to something.
No,
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
No,
He's
it's
just
all good.
asking about the timing for the next episode.
No, it's all good. Okay, I'll count myself back in. Okay, 3, 2. So yeah, Chris had his farewell moment, and I don't want to fuck that up. I hear talk all the time about people like, oh, bring Robert Downey Jr. back. Why? Like he had the perfect death. He went out like a gangster.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's been foreshadowed since the first Iron Man, since the first Avengers. It's kind of been, he's been toying with death since he's become Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's the best way to and I'm an Iron Man fan. I've always been Team Iron Man. I am gonna cry just talking about it, but I think it was the best way to end a story because he wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
his thing. Till his dying breath, he would have been Iron Man. And so that was the perfect ending for him.
Exactly.
And that's why I don't agree with bringing him back.
Listen, one thing the fans don't talk about enough is what being a futurist means. And Tony's a futurist. And he knew if Thanos was ever still in the picture, there would be no fucking future. So he had to do whatever he had to do. He had to roll the dice. He had to take whatever chance he possibly could to make sure that Thanos wasn't going to be in the future. And that's what he did. So, and that's what a futurist would do. You know what I mean? And I'm really hoping one day, Elon Musk grows some balls and decides to build a suit of armor, because if anybody's going to do it, it's him. and then we'll have our real Iron Man. Cause like he could do it. I think he could do it. And he would get Joe Rogan to train him to fight. It'd be great. So,
well, I think we're gonna get Ironheart instead.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that idea. So I'm not a huge like from what I've read, Riri Williams is just not an interesting character. And honestly, Iron Lad isn't that interesting either.
I just want Kamala Khan because I love her. They're introducing her into the video games. Like she's in the Avengers video game.
Yeah.
Right? And so I want to Miss Marvel. I think she's interesting enough. Like her comic books are selling well. She's got a nice, decent sized fan base. I feel like she should be introduced very soon outside of the animated
She will
stuff.
be. Like she's getting her own show, so we'll see that soon.
Oh, nice.
When I started thinking about how they could potentially introduce the X-Men, there's one story that I kept coming back to all the time, and it's an interesting one, but it puts Wolverine in a position of being introduced to the audience as the bad guy right away. And I thought maybe Enemy of the State could make sense. But how I would see it going is Wolverine would be would be used as an assassin by Hydra, just like he was an enemy of the state, but he's brought in from an alternate dimension, and the X-Men have to follow him through to stop him, because that's essentially who takes him down is the X-Men with the help of Elektra and Daredevil. But I think it'd be really cool if they did the story that way, because you automatically give them a purpose to come across through the multiverse into whatever universe Hydra has ordered Wolverine to carry out. Well, actually, Wolverine is not hired as an assassin. He's programmed. He's brainwashed. He's brainwashed to the point where he doesn't even know he's fighting anymore. So I think that could be really, really cool. But I don't have high hopes for that ever happening. Like, I don't think it's a high probability. I think that the introduction of the X-Men will be way more linear than that. I think it's gonna have something.
It feels like they did it with the Hex, how the Hex changes DNA. I feel like that's gonna have something to do with it.
Yeah,
maybe,
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, in WandaVision. So.
Maybe, but that would mean that Wanda is like, she's the catalyst to the X-Men. And I don't know if they're gonna put that weight on her.
That's a viable storyline.
And also,
maybe,
she went through all the different historical time periods. So maybe she impacted actual history when she was changing the time in the Hex.
No, she was doing flashbacks. She wasn't going back through time.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, but she was she was bending reality, right? So
she's bending reality, but she's definitely not going back through time. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So my other choices, Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler. I think he's one of the coolest characters. I like the fact that he's with the X-Men, but he's like super religious. And I just like characters that are multifaceted, that have multiple layers to them. They're not one dimensional. And Nightcrawler is certainly one of those characters. And Nightcrawler's had some insane adventures, insane stories. He's got a great backstory. He's attached to Raven Darkholm, who's Mystique. Chris mentioned Azazel, his father. And he's got a long history. There's a lot to explore with that character, for sure.
Nocturne, his daughter.
Yep. No, for sure. I think that could be really, really dope. And Havoc. I just want to see Havoc's powers, and I'm just tired of seeing Cyclops. Havoc's powers are really, really cool. I don't like the way that they did it with First Class, though, where it was coming out of his chest. I like the X-Men Havoc that just basically shot those blasts out of his fists. I think that looks a lot cooler. And that whole that hula hoop thing that Lucas Till was doing, like that that hip wind, so ridiculous. The hip wind to throw to throw his blast was weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, I think that would look a lot better. And then Psylocke, I love Psylocke because she's part ninja. She's part Japanese, and she's got that psionic knife, which hasn't been used to its true potential yet, which is basically stabbing somebody in the brain and reading their thoughts, which is really dope. So I want to see more of that. And Storm, she's an amazing character. Again, multifaceted, multi-layered. She grew up in Africa, and the people of Africa thought she was a weather goddess, and she dealt with the Shadow King, and the Shadow King was explored in the X-Men TV series Legion. So I think there's a lot of ground to cover with these characters, for sure.
It would also be cool because Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to see. I'm blanking on her name. Natalie Portman's character and Storm. Wow, I'm blanking on all names today. Storm and Natalie Portman's character just get together and just screw stuff up. Just win a fight with one hand.
Yeah, no, that could be cool. No, that definitely could be cool. Yeah, so any thoughts on my X-Men, guys?
Yeah, I definitely like your picks. My favorite is Nightcrawler for your picks. I considered him as well. And yeah, like I think he didn't get his dues properly. Like I think there's so much to his character that wasn't really explored in the portrayals that we saw him in. Especially like actually he was pretty religious. I remember in X2 X-Men United.
Yeah, they made it a big deal. Yeah, they made it a really big part of his character. Yeah, he had all those.
I would have liked to have
markings.
seen a younger. Oh yeah, the markings.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen like a younger, like a more kind of like, like I don't know about rebellious, but like from the animated shows.
Yeah, that could be
like,
cool.
He was kind of like more naive.
Yeah.
More, like instead of like this like repentant. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that as well. But,
yeah, that could be cool.
I think he could have been this like wilder. Because that's kind of what I liked about him. He's like so free and wild and like curious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think there was a lot of direction for him as well. And what you said about Havoc, that stupid hula hoop thing. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's why I hated Havoc so much.
The worst.
Because of First Class. I'm not like that. I'm not the biggest fan of First Class. It's because like they really screwed up a lot of my favorite characters and maybe not shown enough of some of them, like Azazel. But yeah, I think they could redeem Havoc. Definitely. I just worry that it like people aren't gonna just be like, oh, it's just a discount Cyclops. But I think if they do it right, you know what I mean? Like if they do it right, probably no one will even know that he's Cyclops' brother because they never even have to mention it if they don't want to.
Yeah, Havoc's.
I like your choices.
Yeah, Havoc's probably my most obscure character out of all those for sure. But yeah, no, I think that Alex Summers could be an interesting character to explore. Especially with like, you don't get the embedded romance of Jean Grey and Scott Summers, and you don't get the love triangle either, because that's like, I don't know, writers are so dependent on those things. It's almost like I need a romance story. Oh well, I'm gonna get Jean Grey, fucking Logan, and Scott Summers in the same story.
I'm so bored of that like love triangle.
Yeah.
I want to see something else.
No, for sure. I think that could be really cool to explore for sure. I'd like to see Wolverine and Storm do their romance thing. I think that could be gangster.
Yeah, that could be fun too.
Yeah, and I definitely want to see the Mohawk Storm for sure. The Mohawk Storm was pretty rad. I'm really digging the Mohawk Storm.
And I do agree with you with the whole like for me when like when Chris Evans was still active.
Yep.
And you asked me and people asked me like what X-Men do I want to see? My first answer was always Wolverine, so I can see them both in World War II together doing because they did that in the comics. They were both like the Canadian forces sent Wolverine to aid Captain America with something before he even had metal claws.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted to see. And I really agree with you, no matter how unlikely it is, that if they ever bring back anybody, the only thing I would accept is a flashback scene of Captain America, like a cameo of Captain America and Wolverine. Even if it's also a flashback of Wolverine, like if it doesn't take place in World War II and it's Wolverine flashing back, like and you see a cameo of Captain America, I would love that. And it wouldn't be. I don't think it would break the farewell that we had for Captain America either, right?
Yeah,
it's just like
for sure.
It's like any other cameo. It doesn't really break anything.
For sure,
it's still powerful.
For sure,
it's kind of more of an homage to this character still plays an important role to the movies.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I want to see a Wolverine movie, kind of like Interview with a Vampire, where like there's they're living in a certain time and age, but then there's certain events, there's certain occurrences that happen in their lives, but then they flash back to something that kind of illuminates what they're currently going through. You know what I mean? Like I definitely want to see I definitely want to see a Wolverine where the flashbacks are very heavy, kind of like Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. Where they were always flashing back to what was happening in the temple. When he was being taught by his teacher. Like I want to see that. I want to see Wolverine during the Civil War. I want to see Wolverine during World War I and World War II. I want to see him during the Great Depression. I want to see him like, he's had this fucking long ass life, and you can literally map American history across Wolverine's life. Cool. That's like, that would be really, really cool to see, But yeah.
Or Canadian history.
Sorry?
Because he's Canadian.
What?
I said, or Canadian history.
Yeah, both histories. Well, world history, right? Like, World War I, World War II, Great Depression, these are all global events. So really wouldn't matter where the hell he is. He'd be experiencing the ripples from that anywhere he was. So I think that could be really cool. As far as probabilities go for me, I think they're all pretty fairly high. I'd probably give them all, 4s or 5s, except for Havoc. I'd say maybe 3. So I'm pretty, I kind of hedged my bets on some X-Men that I might actually see. Yeah. But X-Men that I think
Havoc is a little bit lower, I think, because it's hard to sell that to an exec.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so you're telling me Cyclops, which is already not a fan favorite, we're going to take this, but then again, we have already seen him, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe, dude. Maybe, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so before we go, I got a quick couple questions for you guys, X-Men related, that I want to throw at you. How old do you
Okay.
want the X-Men to be as a group when they get introduced? How old should they be?
Ooh.
Well, so for mine, they could be different ages.
Yeah.
And if we go with the castings they chose, I guess Cyclops and Emma Frost would be kind of middle-aged and...
Middle-aged?
Well, like in
You
their
ain't-
30s.
okay.
They'd be in their 30s.
Okay.
Or
Wow.
maybe
Thanks, Christina. Middle-aged.
40s
Okay.
or 40s.
All
I
right.
don't know.
No.
What do we want to call that? Whatever we want to call that. I guess it's not middle-aged. 'cause
You don't
people live until
understand.
they're 100
You
now.
don't understand why I was offended by that. That's okay.
Not really.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, and then Wolverine would be whatever, appearing to be also around the same age as Cyclops and Emma Frost.
Appearing. Yes. Appearing.
Beast could maybe be a little older if he's like Kelsey Grammer, and Kitty, if she's Millie Bobby Brown, like she'd be in her 20s, I guess, or late 20s.
Yeah.
I feel
Yep.
like the biggest mistake Fox made with the X-Men was not having a lineage timeline. I think that's where a lot of people got confused. So I personally would like to see them, like they did with the MCU's first phase, just kind of all build up to one big event.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would make the
They,
characters...
they had no plan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was no
exactly.
plan. Yeah, no, they were all
Yeah.
kind of self-isolated stories for sure. You know, obviously Days of Future Past connected to other films or other characters in other films, but that was really it. That was really the only interconnectivity.
Exactly, but it was hard for fans to want to watch the other movies because it would just... They wanted... A lot of, at least my friends, they wanted to watch it pick up where it left off instead of having to,
Yeah,
okay, I have to start with this movie and then go back to 1 and then go to 2 and then go to 6. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of jumping all over the map.
Yep.
Yeah, for as far as ages go, I think they should space them out. Like I think I would want some of them to be really young. Like Nightcrawler has to be young in my opinion.
I think so
Um,
too. He's like
Havoc-
precocious and
I don't know.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I think
agree.
some of them should be older because like I think the only way from in my not the only way, but I think that the story they should go with is like the mutants like wreaking havoc, right? And I think like a lot of it is like the responsible mutants trying to take control of like the younger, like more rebellious ones. I think Rogue should be younger. I think they should have like a younger cast and then like an older, more like controlling, like responsible. Like, so Wolverine and Jean Grey, if Jean Grey is gonna come, Beast, like the ones that are like more of like the gatekeepers of the world of the mutants. I think they should definitely be older.
Yeah,
But
I
I
agree.
do want like
the
I do
legacy
want
characters.
people-
The legacy
yeah.
characters, yeah.
and I do want people to be like Tom Holland's age, right? Like it would be kind of cool to have like to be like, oh, my classmate was a mutant this whole time, like and like Nightcrawler and Spider-Man doing cool things together.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
so-
I think they need to be different ages, and especially because it's a school. Some people have to be older, and some people have to be younger, so you can have that
Yeah.
mentor-mentee kind of thing going on. And-
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
weird to see like Kitty Pryde or like Jubilee as like a 40-year-old, 45-year-old woman. It would be
Yeah,
It would
Kitty
be
Pryde
really
has to be
really
younger,
odd.
yeah,
It
for
would
sure.
be really
yeah,
odd.
yeah, that would be strange.
And Dust, how old should Dust?
I don't think she. So in my version, Kitty doesn't have to be like a teenager, but yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think
Cool.
it also comes down to perspective, like who you want to appeal to as well. Because
Right.
a lot of, I mean, growing up, I read these comic books and saw myself in a lot of the characters, like Dust apparently, because I had a heart around her in the comic book. But it's, to have people relate to characters is so important, and I think that's why Captain America and Iron Man were so popular, is because there were these attributes and traits that everyone had in them. So having them be different ages throughout just lets them broaden their horizons, if that makes sense. To
yeah,
have so
you
many
can, you
people.
can tap into more audiences. So yeah, that makes sense. And I think there should be teenagers. There always has to be some teenagers in the X-Men. That's like part of it. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised no one mentioned Colossus or
Yeah, we saw him in Deadpool and he kind of, I don't know, I got kind of tired of him a little bit, but yeah, I don't really
They did
have a
good
power.
job, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a physical powerhouse on my team at all, but that's probably something I should augment. But
if they do
anyways.
Astonishing X-Men, Colossus does eventually come in as a 6th member of the Astonishing X-Men.
Cool.
So, and he has
Cool,
like a
cool.
whole thing. There's a lot of storylines with him and Kitty Pryde. So, but I
Yeah.
feel like they did that part. They kind of did the first arc of Astonishing X-Men in X-Men Last Stand. They did part of that. So,
Mhm.
Okay, one last big question here. And let's try and keep our answers as short as we can because we're kind of running out of time here. But the Phoenix Saga. Does Marvel do the smartest thing in the universe and open themselves to an opportunity to basically get a dump truck of money by doing something very similar to the Avengers story structure and give us the Phoenix Saga in a number of different films? Or told over a series of films?
While. Yes, but not in this phase. I think
not right away.
We need to let it. Yeah, we need to let it die and be a bad memory first, and then.
And I think they have to bring Jean Grey into the universe first as a good guy before they make her a bad guy. So
right.
I think it's a huge possibility just because A, Disney is a huge monopoly that's always looking for money, and B, Infinity War, that whole saga, it worked so great. So if they just slowly build up for like another decade, even, right? Just making movies, making us fall in love with these characters, and then boom. That's when the big event happens 10 years down the line. Why fix something that's not broken, if that makes sense? If it worked the first time, it'll probably work with different characters and a different storyline, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a possibility for sure. Okay, so sticking with the Phoenix Saga for a second. Do they give us the accurate version? Does Marvel learn their lessons from Fox and give us basically a beat by beat cinematic retelling of the Phoenix Saga? I hope to God.
Yeah, I mean that's not a mistake that they've made a lot. You know, like the MCU is kind of like success came from that, right? It came from like capturing the essence of the comic books. So I think they would, and I don't think that's a mistake that they really suffer from. Like, that's not a weakness that they have, I don't think.
I would think when it comes to the MCU, they're really, really good with understanding what the audience wants. And, I mean, Iron Man, Cap, even Bucky, they were all cast like, even Tom Holland, they were all cast looking like their comic book characters and acting like them, right? So I don't think they're going to screw it up. Hopefully they don't screw it up.
Yeah, I hope so too. I wouldn't mind a couple of small changes here and there. Like, I'm sure the Starjammers could be substituted for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that would be kind of dope. But however, you don't get to meet Scott Summers' father, which is weird because, Peter Quill's father's in space and so is Scott Summers' father. They're all in space. But yeah, no, I think that, I really hope that they try and keep the story as accurate as possible because we deserve that, man. That's one of the best things about the animated series is that it went panel for panel. Like even that scene of Wolverine fighting the guy that can change his density in the sewer was almost the animation was almost panel for panel exact, like 1-to-1. So I'm really excited to see that. Well, guys, I think we've hit the end of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. If you could, we would love if you could drop us a review over at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Podchaser. That would be amazing. And if you have any friends in your life or any loved ones in your life that enjoy all things geek, be sure to tell them about our show. Spread the nerd. All right, well, we're going to sign off here. I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm Christina Dumas.
I'm Chris Abano.
I'm Harmony.
Peace.